I think it would be fair to say Last of Us Part 2 is probably one of the most, if not the most, polarizing game of all time. Because people will tell you this is their favourite game of all time, this is a masterpiece in gaming and it's in their top 3 lists. And then other people will say this game's utter trash and no one should ever play it and waste their time on it. However, I do agree more with the first take in that it's a good game. It's not a masterpiece, I still think the first one is better. I'd say it's still pretty good, 7 out of 10. I give it, if I had to give it a rating. Now, there are only mainly 2 reasons why this game isn't a masterpiece in my eyes. One of them being the character Abby. It's very hit or miss. I don't like her one bit. I hate the way I have to play as her in the game and the fact that she's shown as like a great lovable person. No, you're not. The last hour to an hour and a half of gameplay, the ending, is probably the biggest waste of an hour and a half I've ever spent on a game. Ever. Now, before we go into my reasonings why, if you was one of the people who watched my series on this game, you might be wondering where that last episode is. Well, so am I. While doing some lovely storage cleaning as you do, I accidentally deleted the video file of the last episode. I've tried every file recovery tool that there is on this web, so that is now gone forever. But hey, now we get this video instead, so. Now we're going to start off with the first fight scene between Ellie and Abby, where you are forced to play as Abby as you try to kill Ellie. I don't think I'm the first to admit this, but during this whole fight, I did not want Ellie to die. To the point where this took me like an extra 20 minutes than most people, because literally after every cutscene, I would purposely die just to see, just in case, Ellie would win and I wouldn't have to see Abby beat the shit out of Ellie. But eventually, whether you like it or not, Abby does end up winning the fight and nearly killing Ellie and also nearly killing Dina. Literally, she bashes Dina's head in against the floor, goes to kill her, stops herself, turns around and then nearly slices her throat in front of Ellie. And the only reason she doesn't, the only reason she stops herself to think maybe not, is because Lev was stood there. That is the only reason she stopped it. Because Lev was going to see it. Which I just find really odd and confusing, because like not even 20 minutes ago, she literally killed Jesse by shooting him square in the forehead. Also shoots Tommy as well in the face. But now she's willing to stop. Now after that, we cut to a farmhouse about 6 months later, which now has Ellie, Dina and JJ living in it. JJ being Dina's new baby. Now at this point, I'm thinking, oh, cool, this is the end of the game. You know, this is the place where we're gonna rest, the game's gonna be over. I'm emotionally drained from that fucking fight. And I'm thinking, cool, we've got a baby, we've got a girlfriend, and we're cool, we're relaxed, we're chilled. And I'm seeing that sunset go down and I'm thinking, cool, great game. I'm content with this ending. Not happy, just content. We've both lost people on both sides. I think it goes with the point that revenge isn't always the first option that you should go for. And then it kind of proves that by Ellie losing more people than she went into the revenge story with. So I think it kind of works out. And I'm content with it. Now, just as the game comes to a close and slowly winds down towards its end, Ellie has like a PTSD attack or a panic attack. I'm not 100% sure. But then she starts thinking about Joel's death again, which is, I think, completely fair. I mean, she has been through a lot, so you can't really knock her for that. But I just feel like if you're going to give Ellie PTSD about Joel and how she might think the death is her fault, then why not just put her back in Jackson, where she can like go to his grave and go to his house and like look over some things? Why put her in, you know, a nice farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, secluded, with farm animals and a nice home to give everyone the illusion that, oh, the game's ending, guys, this is it, now we're all closing down. But I feel like if you put her in Jackson, where she's surrounded by Joel, like memories of Joel, his house, his grave, I think it would work better for her to continue thinking about Joel instead of putting her in a secluded house that really the only memory of Joel that is still there is his watch. I just feel like that would have been a better thing to do. Now, literally only a couple of days after this, Tommy then arrives out of the blue with news that he knows where Abby is. she's in California and that he wants Ellie to go look for her. Now, for some reason, Tommy gets really snotty with Ellie, like fully peer pressures her into doing this for him.
Well, I can't go.
I know.
All right. Reckon it's easy. Forget about her. You sitting all comfy way out here?
Hey,
I'll make her pay.
Tommy.
That's what you said when we got back to Jackson.
Tommy.
What a joke.
It seems like it's for him. He tries to make it out like you wanted this, you know, I've given you what you want, but to be honest, she doesn't really seem that interested. And literally after saying no to Tommy, not even like what it seems like 24 hours later, she's already packing her bags and leaving to go to California, which I find so bizarre. I mean, she lost Jesse to this woman. She nearly lost Dina to this woman. She nearly died herself fighting Abby. And what, she's just gonna leave Dina on her own with a child in the middle of nowhere? Like, in my head, that makes zero sense to do. I don't, like, even if you are fueled with revenge, which still makes no sense because you've already lost and you lost Jesse. Like, surely after that point you think, okay, we lost, we'll take the L on the chin. But look, I got a kid and now I'm with my girlfriend in this nice house. So after Ellie decides to set off for California, we then switch back to Lev and Abby, who are in California. Now, when I got to this point playing the game, I am sick and tired. I thought we'd reached the end. I thought, you know what, I'll settle for that. A nice little farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. JJ's alive, we've got Dina, we're happy. But no, apparently we're not happy, and apparently we want to go kill Abby again. And I can't be bothered. I genuinely just can't be bothered. Hello, this is me editing this video currently. I just want to kind of explain my point a bit more, because I feel like I kind of poorly explained it. I want to show you this graph from the Closer Looks How to Divide a Fanbase video. I recommend you go watch it. It's a really good video about The Last of Us Part 2. If we all just divert our eyes over to the right hand side of the screen with the two little peaks. The first peak being when Ellie fights Abby for the first time, and then the second peak being when they fight again for the second time. My point is, there isn't enough time for the game to breathe. Basically, this graph shows like the timeline and the tension in the timeline. So when that first peak goes up, that's the tension building up to that first fight, and then it immediately drops down because, well, nothing happened, everything's kind of ended. But then it peaks again because they're about to fight again, and that's where my point comes from. Anyway, back to past me. Like, it doesn't make sense. I can't believe what I'm seeing with my eyes, because I thought we'd hit the ending, but we didn't, and we've got like another hour left. So anyway, Abby and Lev are looking for the Fireflies, which are still kicking around, and they find a house with a radio with numbers to contact the Fireflies. How fortunate. Apparently there's about 200 of them on an island. Sounds very dodgy, but alas, they celebrate, and we go outside the house, and bang! We are then introduced to a new group of people called the Rattlers, who knock the fucking shit out of Lev, and they're like a slave group. They capture people, torment people, and then people eventually die, and then they chain them up as zombies, because that's fun. So Lev and Abby end up getting captured, and then we switch back to Ellie, who is now searching through Abby's boat. She then finds out where Abby and Lev were heading, follows the same route, but before she gets there, she gets captured by the Rattlers again, but not by them, by a trap they set. And she also gets impaled by a tree, but somehow doesn't die. I mean, she literally ends up hanging upside down for what looks like a good couple of hours with a puncture in like the side of her from a tree. So eventually she's discovered by these Rattlers. They let her down onto the floor, and then one of them tries to put her into a hanging zombie. But then Ellie just pushes him into the zombie, and then he gets eaten. So the other guy tries shooting Ellie, pretty much misses every fucking shot. Ellie grabs the guy's gun, shoots him back, and then, because Ellie's got the high ground or whatever, she goes, yo, tell me where Abby is, and the guy's like, yeah, sure, she's here. And then Ellie just shoots him anyway because she's so fueled with revenge. Eventually, Ellie makes it to their little base hideout camp, and I'm not even joking, she kills about 40 or 50 of them. Obviously, depending on how you play the game, but I'm pretty sure you have to kill 40 or 50 of them. So Ellie kills 40 or 50 of them, which, to be honest, morally, I don't really have that much of an issue with because they are slave captors, which, to be honest, gives me the impression that she's gonna kill Abby. Like, if you're gonna do all this again, you're gonna kill Abby, no matter what, right? Right? So eventually she makes her way through the whole entire base to the prisoners, and the prisoners tell her Abby is at the pillars. So Ellie goes to the pillars to find Abby and Lev literally being tortured to death. So she lets them down, then they walk to the beach to get on boats. But before Abby leaves, Ellie wants to fight her. But Abby literally doesn't want to fight, like, she is not willing to fight back whatsoever. So then Ellie puts a knife to Lev's throat, which for me I just get so lost on. I mean, Ellie literally is taking care of a child herself, not hers, but she is taking care of a child with her girlfriend, but is willing to threaten a child to have Abby fight her, which, you know, you think, okay, maybe she's filled with so much revenge and she's blinded by it all, and she only sees Abby, and because Abby's not fighting her, she wants that fight, so she's willing to do anything to get it. So if that was true, it would make so much sense. But as we're about to see in this fight, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it just feels so odd and such a strange thing to do. So because Abby doesn't want Lev to die, she ends up fighting Ellie, but I'll be honest, the fight seems very unfair. I mean, the whole time, Ellie's using a knife. Abby's just using her bare hands. Ellie's got a knife. I mean, it seems pretty unfair, but they fight either way. But finally, after a lot of back and forth and Ellie stabbing Abby in the chest and Abby biting Ellie's fingers off, it finally looks like Ellie's gonna kill... What's that? Oh, she gets a flashback of Joel in her head and decides not to kill Abby. And then just lets her ride away on a boat. What the actual fuck? 2 hours ago, they fought against each other and there was no one died and they both walked away. And now it's happened again. So for the last 2 hours, we've done all this to get the same ending. And it's not like it's giving me a different message or giving me a different directive or a different opinion or a different perspective. Nothing's changed. We are still the same we were 2 hours ago. Like, for the last 2 hours, I feel like I've just been used by this company to say, hey, look at our game, we're really cool and great. No, you're not. You've wasted my time. We could have done this shit 2 hours ago. And yet, here we are, experiencing the same fucking bullshit. For what? For what? To waste my time, so you can get more 2 hours of gameplay. To say, look, our players play till the end. But okay, let's stop him there. He goes on for another minute, and I'm not trying to listen to that. Look, I think the main problem I have is that it doesn't pop. The tension builds when Abby is about to fight Ellie for the first time, and it's like blowing up a balloon. You know, you keep blowing that balloon, and then when that balloon gets so big, it's gonna pop. That's what you expect. When the tension's at its peak, you think that balloon's gonna pop, but it just lets go. Like, they just like let the balloon go. They don't pop it, it just goes. There's no like ultimate conclusion, nothing happens, there's no consequences apart from everything else that happened before in the first fight. But then they do it in the second fight as well. They build this tension again, blowing up this balloon again, and you're expecting it to pop this time, and yet it doesn't pop. It just dissipates. It just goes out of the balloon. And also the reasoner for stopping killing Abby is because she saw Joel in her head, or she saw an image of Joel in her head. I just find that so bizarre. Like, especially all the stuff that came before it, that she's willing to leave Dina and JJ on their own. She's willing to go all the way to California. She's willing to kill all these people to get to Abby. She threatens Lev, and then in the end doesn't kill her because Joel popped into her head. But Joel didn't pop into her head before any of this, and it just makes it so odd and so strange and such like an anti-climax ending. Anyway, Ellie goes back home to the farmhouse. Dina's not there, shockingly, neither's JJ, and all of her stuff is there and a guitar, and then she plays a guitar for the last time with emphasis that she's missing 2 fingers, because that's like, what's it called, imagery? Or something, I don't know, telling something with no words, I don't know what it's called. And then she walks out the house with a song playing, and then there's the screen title. That's it. That's the game. But yeah, that was kind of my main reasoning for why the ending of Last of Us Part 2 sucks, and it's just terrible and it doesn't really work. And I just feel like they could have cut the whole bit out and just left it at Ellie, Dina and JJ at the farmhouse, and we never really seen what Abby and Lev get up to. And we can only really assume they went to California because that's what they were talking about beforehand. But on the other hand of this, I think all of it could be worth it. I mean, depending on you are, but could be worth it for that final flashback of Joel and Ellie.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
Where'd you get that?
Those people that came through last week.
Oh.
A little embarrassed as to what I had to trade to get it, but it's not bad.
I had Seth under control.
Yeah, I know.
And you need to stop harassing Jesse about my patrols.
Okay. Dina. Is she your girlfriend?
No. No, that was just one kiss. It doesn't mean anything. She just, I don't know why she did that.
But you do like her.
So stupid.
I have no idea what that girl's intentions are, but I do know that she would be lucky to have you.
You're such an asshole.
I'm not trying to.
I was supposed to die in that hospital. My life would have fucking mattered. But you took that from me.
If somehow the Lord gave me a second chance at that moment, I would do it all over again.
Yeah. I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
like that.
Okay. I'll see you around.
Yep.
And like, I genuinely verge of tears. Anyway, let me know if you enjoyed this video. I did put a lot of work into this. A lot of work. I did a lot of writing to try and get most of my points across that I had with this final. It was kind of my fault though in deleting the video that I was going to make. But yeah, appreciate you watching. Thank you.
You came out of the blue. I want to know, what did you